Hey guys, back again. Today I was going to do a painting for Hawthorne Heights, more specifically Niki FM, which was one of my favorite songs growing up and still is a classic to me. So yeah, I'll talk a little bit about band history and just what I'm painting and my personal experience with the band. And yeah, so hope you enjoy. Okay, so as we know, Hawthorne Heights was one of the most quintessential bands of 2000s emo, and the peak of their music coincided exactly as I was growing into being an adolescent myself. And before Hawthorne Heights became Hawthorne Heights in 2001, their original name was A Day in the Life, and I didn't know this fact until researching, which is so cool because I love learning new things, and I had no idea. So their current lineup is JT Woodruff, and forgive me if I mess names up, Matt Rydnor, Mark McMillan, and Chris Popadak. But in earlier years, the band consisted of JT, Matt, Micah Carley, and Aaron Bucciarelli, if I said that right, and Casey Calvert. That being said, I can't help but bring up the unfortunate and untimely loss of Casey, who passed in November of 2007. And I remember hearing the news very clearly. I was actually sitting in my freshman English composition class when word had spread. And I remember writing down the date and making an entry about how devastated I was and, how I felt for the band. And I do believe I still have that same notebook from that year with the entry log, lying around somewhere around here. And not to be too dark, but this band has actually been touched by its own share of tragedy, also including the car crash deaths of fellow band members, close friends of theirs, Bayside, who were touring alongside them during the Never Sleep Again tour in 2005. And online I found an interview during that time with Aaron, their former drummer, and he had said that he said, "We took a couple days off from touring for everybody to gather themselves back together, and so we could go pay our respects to John and his family. It was kind of weird coming back and not having Bayside play. They're really close friends of ours, and we've toured with them more than any other band. So to not have them out there with us was kind of hard. And then 2 days ago, Anthony and Jack came back, and that was pretty tough watching them the first night, just playing acoustic without the rest of the band." And that quote, but it's kind of haunting and almost foreshadowing in a way, considering they would lose Casey within that same week of November, just 2 years in the future. So kind of strange and unfortunate. And I'd actually found a video somewhere of the tour where it showed behind the scenes, following the bands and stuff. And they'd actually captured that moment when the news had broken mid-tour about Bayside. And unfortunately I can't seem to find the video anymore, but I know it's going to be out there somewhere. And although I feel like it's important to mention these topics, I want to move on. I feel like there's more to say, but the events don't define these bands, but out of respect, I did want to take a moment to acknowledge the memories of these people and just the tragedy of these events. And on a side note, I wanted to give a shout out to Bayside, who have persevered so hard and continued to make really awesome music. And I might do a video on them coming up at some point as well. With that being said, I'd like to discuss my personal experience that I had with Hawthorne Heights music growing up. I started listening to both the albums, The Silence in Black and White, as well as If Only You're Lonely, in probably around 7th, 8th grade, which really made an impact on me. My home life growing up wasn't always the easiest. I grew up in a foster home. We had a lot of conflicts with my parents, and there's always stuff, and just a lot of day-to-day interpersonal issues and some difficult emotions to deal with. And I believe that's true, for just in general about becoming and being a teenager. And I think it's important not to forget how hard those times can be. And Hawthorne Heights music definitely, has some darker themes that really validated my feelings at the time. And I have, memories of going to therapy during the winter at our local Sweetser center where I grew up. And I was always listening to Hawthorne Heights in the waiting room before my appointments. And I remember so well the sound of their music, driving in the car, I'd be listening to my headphones. And just the darkness of night and the snow falling through the light of the car headlights. And I actually feel like a lot of their music reminds me of wintertime. And as a matter of fact, they even have that song titled Decembers, so who knows, maybe there's a correlation there. And I also love that song. It's just a really beautiful song. And I also remember I used to take super long walks down. I grew up in a rural area, and I would walk those roads, maybe for over an hour until I would reach a main highway and turn around to go back to, a place I really despised at the time. And sitting on the bus, going to school, I used to always blast their music. I had one of those old school Zune MP3 players, and it was a huge brick. If anybody remembers those, I had one that was a brown color. Those were interesting to carry around. But yeah, I'd just blast their music and drown out all the annoying crap that happens on the bus when you're in junior high and high school. And yeah, I would listen to them, and I'd always be drawing in my notebook and really ridiculous stuff, like crying angels and anime characters and cats and all that stuff. But yeah, art has always been an outlet for me, and their music always really served me well when I'm creating things. So I'm super excited to have the chance to see Hawthorne Heights with Luke next October at When We Were Young, as I've never had a chance to see them live before, and it's a dream come true for me. I know that they'll be playing the Silence in Black and White album, and I'm really just over the moon about that. And on to the painting. I had gotten inspiration for this painting after Luke had mentioned the Niki FM music video. And it's kind of funny because he actually recalled it incorrectly. He mentioned crows flying out of a speaker, but that didn't actually happen in the video. It's actually when they throw their graduation caps and those transform into crows or blackbirds or what have you. But it kind of worked out perfectly due to the song title, as well as the lyrics. I'm outside of your window with my radio. You are the only station. You play the song I know. I just love that lyric. But yeah, in turn, that's who and what gave me the idea. So as you'll see, I had some leftover blacklight paint. So I decided to attempt to make a bit of a glowing screen on the radio. Which you'll see when I turn out the lights. Though you need a black light to see it, I tried using glow in the dark paint in tandem with this orange black light paint, but unfortunately it just wasn't happening, so black light it is. Yeah, so anyway, as a side note, I'll be starting up Etsy shop soon, I hope, so I can kind of put these paintings up if anyone's interested. Just for the heck of it. I'll put a link in the description when that's up and running. Anyway, thanks for watching, everybody, and wishing you an amazing week or weekend, whatever time it is when you're watching this. Yeah, so go listen to some Hawthorne Heights and jam out to Niki FM. Yeah, take care. Until the next time.